first time after she sued the Justice Department to get him back.
Me puse a llorar cuando lo vi, porque es el único hijo que tengo.
Now mounting questions about the future of some 2,000 migrant children still in limbo without their parents. We spoke with several mothers in one detention center by phone. Griselda Vasquez Mejia from Honduras says she's desperate to hear from her 9-year-old son.
She says that authorities had told her that she was only going to be separated from her son for 48 hours. It's now been 9 days and she has no idea where he is.
So how does the government keep track of the children? That responsibility falls to a previously little-known agency, the Office of Refugee Resettlement, part of the Department of Health and Human Services. For years, ORR handled kids who crossed into the U.S. alone, but after the Trump administration's zero-tolerance crackdown, the agency also started taking care of separated kids, as adult family members were prosecuted. How can parents find their children? They're handed this flyer that includes phone numbers to call.
Thank you for calling the ICE Detention Reporting and Information Line.
Where are the children being kept? ORR has a network of about 100 shelters like these across the country, operated by nonprofit groups, though our cameras have not been allowed inside. As the First Lady toured one in South Texas, she had this question.
How many times they speak with their relatives or families per week, for example?
Well, the children are allowed to communicate with their family twice a week.
Teodora Martinez Salvador hasn't communicated with her teenage son in 9 days. I need to hear his voice, she says. There are many desperate mothers here.
That woman, Teodora, tells us that she was overjoyed when she first heard about President Trump's executive order, but now she just quickly wants to be reunited with her son. Hoda and Savannah, imagine not being able to hear from your child or even know where they are for 9 days.
All right, Gabe, thank you. And Craig is just back from the border, obviously covered it all week, and it's one thing to talk about a story from afar, as we have been, it's another thing to be there and talk to kind of all sides of the issue.
It's, you know what, it's one of those situations where you've got the predictable finger pointing in Washington and the rhetoric and the policy discussions, and then you get down there and you talk to people along the border, very confused, very anxious, and not just the parents who've been separated from their children, but the people who work with them, the advocates. There's just this overarching confusion that continues to persist there. Here's the other part of it, though. There are a lot of people, especially in this part of the country, who really feel like, and who said to me, we got to do something. Like, whatever we're doing isn't working. We got to do something, even if this isn't it.
While you were down there, the president signed the executive order. Did you feel palpably like something changing down there?
No. And here's the thing. I mean, we went to this, on Wednesday night, we went to this vigil, we went to this march. People knew that the president had signed the executive order, reversing course, essentially, doing something, by the way, that he said initially that he could not do. But they knew he signed it. They don't trust the administration. Even people on both sides of the aisle said to me, at least, that they're very suspicious of the administration's approach. I mean, think about it. They said one thing for a number of weeks, and all of a sudden they were saying something else. So the folks down there, that's the thing I feel like sort of got lost in all of this. They're very confused.
Yeah, I'm curious. I grew up near the border, in Arizona. There are people who live along the border who've been dealing with the problem of illegal immigration for decades. How do they obviously, as you said, they feel like there's got to be a fix. How did they feel about this fix and the fact that families were separated?
Wherever you are on the spectrum of solutions, at least the folks that I talked to, no one, literally, not one person thought that this was the way to go about doing it. And that's the dilemma. I mean, it's one of those situations where people will readily admit, especially along the border, that there's a problem, that we have to do something to fix what's happening there. But no one that I talked to thought that this was the solution. There was a guy who actually flew down from Brooklyn. His name was Josh. Josh Rubin was his name. He flew down on Wednesday. He was watching the coverage. Flew down just to protest, just to go to this vigil. There he is right there. It's a really cool hat. But he said to me that this is going to be, in his opinion, one of the defining issues of our time. And this is something, like you said, this is something we've been dealing with for 20, 30 years. And there's no sign that this is something that we're not going to be dealing with in some capacity 10 or 20 years from now.
Over to you, Washington. Do something about it. Craig, thank you. It's good to have you back home. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Meantime, it was another night of protests in and around Pittsburgh over that deadly police shooting
of an unarmed high school student. NBC's Ron Mott joins us with the very latest on that story. Hey, Ron, good morning.
Hey, Hoda, good morning to you. Protesters hit the road overnight, shutting down Interstate 376 in both directions for a number of hours. They also protested outside the police department here, shut down an intersection behind me. They say they want answers sooner rather than later, while authorities are asking everyone for patience.
This morning, Pittsburgh on edge. Protesters taking to the streets, outraged by the shooting death of an unarmed black teenager, 17-year-old Antoine Rose.
Why are they shooting? All they did was run and they're shooting at them.
Gunned down by an East Pittsburgh cop while running away during a traffic stop, a shooting caught on cell phone video. Police say the car matched the description of a vehicle involved in a drive-by shooting moments before, finding 2 guns inside. They say Antoine was not armed when he was shot. Philadelphia-based civil rights attorney Lee Merritt says he represents Antoine Rose's family.
It's difficult to imagine any circumstance or set of facts that would justify the use of deadly force in that situation.
A diverse crowd, numbering in the hundreds, gathered outside the Allegheny County Courthouse demanding justice.
We need to have some real action that happens after this. This cannot just go away. There has to be something done. We have to take a stand. Nothing's going to change if we don't stand up.
Authorities have not identified the officer who shot Antoine. He's been placed on leave as the Allegheny County Police Department moves forward with the investigation. Late Thursday, the borough of East Pittsburgh issued a statement, writing in part, "This is a tragic loss. We offer our deepest sympathy and condolences to Mr. Rose's family and friends. We are seeking truth and answers, but the process takes time." Protesters rallied for a second straight night in East Pittsburgh near the shooting scene. Demonstrators vowing to keep calling for answers until they come.
A visitation is set for Sunday with a funeral planned on Monday, and the attorney Lee Merritt there you saw there, he says they may have to change the location because they're expecting a very large crowd coming to pay their respects. Hold up, Savannah.
All right, Ron Mott. Ron, thank you.
And now to a historic change on the roads here in the U.S. We don't think twice about hopping in the car and taking a drive, but this weekend, for the very first time
in the world, that still bans women from driving. Well, that all ends on Sunday when women here finally get to hit the road on their own. Siham Khan never thought she'd find herself here at a driving school in her home country and at the wheel.
Very excited because we wait this moment for a long time.
She's one of the first women ever to get a driver's license in Saudi Arabia. After decades of taking a back seat to men in this ultra-conservative kingdom, told how to dress, where to work, and by some that they were too stupid to drive. Women are flooding schools like this one by the thousands, the waiting list months long.
The second I heard that we're gonna drive, like, sign me up, even if I don't go anywhere, just having that feeling of I could if I wanted to.
The landmark shift expected to put more than 6 million new drivers on the road, part of the Crown Prince's plan to modernize the kingdom. With more women in work, movie theaters reopening, men and women socializing out in the open.
Not everyone agrees with the changes here, but polls have shown that nearly 80% of Saudis, both women and men, believe that women should have the right to drive.
Are able to do more things on their own, which is a step in the right direction.
Yet Saudi women still need permission from a man to get a passport, travel abroad, get married. And some of the very women activists who pushed for driving rights are now under arrest. Vogue slammed for putting a Saudi princess on the cover while campaigners are locked up. Women here say they do want more, but for now,
you're about to get behind the wheel for the first time. What do you think is going to be going through your mind?
Just don't hit anything.
The focus is on the road.
Kelly, you're there. I mean, does it feel like a massive sea change there?
It does. It feels like a historic moment, and it is for generations of women here. It's interesting when you talk to the younger women, 18-year-olds, they sort of think, yeah, We expect it, but the older women who have lived in this country for a long time and have wanted this change are really excited. In fact, everyone we've spoken to has said they plan to be up at a minute past midnight on the road, even if it's for a drive around the block.
And hopefully it's just the beginning for changing circumstances for women there. Kelly, thank you very much.
Time now for our first check of the weather. We have Mr. Roper at the weather wall. Hey, Al.
Hey, good morning, guys. And which does conclusively prove that you can remix anything. Isn't that true? She's only saying the word money.
Money. Yeah.
Anyway, well, there you are.
I didn't want a kitten, but I didn't want to hurt him either. I was like, there's somebody out there that wants this thing. For me, but there's somebody out there that would love this cat. And I told Robin, I said, Robin, I am so happy that this cat has a home. And it didn't have to go to the Humane Society. So I am so glad that you guys, it made you guys happy. She called me the other day. I was busy. And she called, I just want to tell you, we are so thankful for this cat. And I'm like, Robin, I got to go. I was doing something. I was like, really good. I got to go. But she's so appreciative because that's a blessing to them. You know, let's not throw each other away. Let's love on each other. Even if somebody's not your kind, they're not the kind you're going to hang with every day, but still love each other. Amen? So the moral of the story is, even if you don't like kittens, don't kill the cat. Amen? All right.
Taking a moment. For right now, I'll send back to you.
The family who owned that business spotted the same vehicle in the area Monday. That's when the woman tried confronting Suarez, but he refused to stop his car.
My sister was standing here in the middle of the street. She heard me screaming at him not to hit me, and so that's why she was in the street watching us, and he just took off down the street, and by the time she realized he wasn't going to stop, she put her hands out and she tried to get out of the way, and he accelerated and he hit her.
Police arrested Suarez Tuesday night. They say he's a parolee with a long criminal history. The woman who was hit has a long road to recovery and remains in the hospital this morning with severe injuries.
David and Louise Turpin with 2 children. A judge in Riverside County found probable cause yesterday to try the couple on all but one of the 50 counts filed against them. The Turpins were arrested in January after one of their daughters managed to escape their home in Paris. The couple has pleaded not guilty to all charges against them. Arraignment is set for early August.
Police in Chicago have released video of a shootout between an off-duty officer and 2 attempted carjacking suspects. The video shows 2 men approaching the officer's parked BMW. One opens the passenger door while the other moves over to the driver's side. The officer then jumps out of the vehicle and draws his weapon. That's when the firefight ensues. The 2 suspects ran around the corner and took off in a waiting vehicle. So far, they have not been captured. Investigators do not believe anyone was hit by the gunfire.
2 employees at a chain restaurant have been fired after one was recorded stirring iced tea with her arm. It happened at a Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers restaurant near Kansas City, Missouri. One employee recorded the other employee using her arm as a swizzle stick. She's then seen pouring the tea into a dispenser. The video was posted to Snapchat Tuesday evening with a caption that read, in part, "We don't care no more." The manager learned of it a short time later and immediately fired both workers involved. The tea was thrown out and the dispenser was sanitized. The Ventura County Health Department is evaluating more than 600 people who might have been exposed to tuberculosis. Officials say someone with the disease was at Rio Vista Middle School in Oxnard in March. Any students and staff who test positive will undergo more testing and will be given medication. Health officials say there was a related case found in a member of the 24-hour fitness gym at the collection in Oxnard. Health experts say that individual may have contracted the disease from the same person who went to the school. Symptoms of TB include coughing, weakness, fevers, weight loss, and night sweats.
Just in time for...
to the dance floor? Is that it?
Oh yeah, this would be the West Coast version. I went to New York in 1997, and I told them that I'll be the West Coast version of Rapid Delight Sugar Hill Gang. Because y'all had that Biggie NWA, and I was like, this is my shit. Yeah. All you ladies with the report dance, come on up to the camp. Yeah. There you go. I'm smooth and with the change, things, right? The door, turn on the music on, and say, dedication and say, shame for the suit that just that. You wake up. But, sure, you were too much. Yeah. Coming off the leader, too. Just did it again. Like without bullshit and nothing. I got too many hoes, baby. Call me this, call me that. Get everything, lay on you, man. By the way that I'm my man, but you can step, though. Get on. Like me. Can't see you get down. Must be on that rock. 24/7 with us. So right. No, you don't know. Like you coming down, but never get on there. Believe it. You're really not wrong. Say next night, I'm no man. I was up to California, trying this Cali, I got some for you. See, punks every day, I'm a shit by the road, saying, and it's the only punks got what it takes from school. We need to be smooth and so smooth with a clean degree. See, I'm a loner, but I lonely, me and myself, don't feel all me. But we can play it all, just do together, and all together, rock the chat. Cause I'm a nigga who's a buggy, you know, cause I'm eating my shit, so talented, so many of you can see a lie, and I run this shit, come in here, everybody doing nothing, doing things. You gotta get out and stay right, looking what to do. Do what to love. Sit around to the right girl, really good. Do what up, y'all. Get a book stuff. Do this plus C, so get it on. Get there, yeah. Right here, town. But it goes, he said, get it. When you should. So I'm done. I'm a big bigger house, but I'm gonna be chillin' off. Yeah, yo. But I'm super cool, take you home. Big way, boy, face, nigga from the West Coast. Don't do it for the show. Gotta hang on, let's get to the tunnel, yeah, like I'm a steward, you're a steward, man. Just yourself when they fucking summer there. It's all right, you're not in the first scene. Oh, yeah. Malcolm, that's what we call it. Like Moses, I think like Jesus, cause I'm rooting, I'm always doing. Or you just fooling yourself, over the bell. Like Tyson, could not get out, but just got way out of play. The chicken wing, I'm gonna stay in really sauce. I'm gonna take me, I'm rapping, dancing, really stay. There's a way, pick up girls, say home day. Yo, what's in here, not now, whatever. This is good. The others, I got style. Oh, yes, I do. When I'm looking for a party, I'm like, I'm finished up. Had open face, and I'm this is cool. Like more steak with this piece, got you got down. I'm when I say cool, like I make it take away. Never think you're gonna take it away. That's why I'm doing this thing while I'm shaking my hand, I'm looking over at me, and never put a fear. And when I'm looking up the feet, I'm like, look at me, you can tell. That shit was easy, I'm moving. All the stuff, all the things are amazing me. Oh, yeah. Good job. Woo!
That's remix.
Remix, that's right. That's the West Coast version.
That's that better part.
Thank you.
Y'all, that was Malcolm.